Hi, y'all. This is Kristen Chenoweth.
Hi, I'm Gloria Stefan.
This is Sarah Bareilles.
Hi, I'm Patty Lapone.
This is Lin-Manuel Miranda. You're listening to the Broadway Podcast Network.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Theater Podcast. I'm your host, Alan Seals, and this is intimate personal conversations with the industry's biggest names. This episode with Leslie Rodriguez Kritzer is obviously no exception to that, who is currently seen as the amazing diva, the Lady of the Lake in Spamalot on Broadway. She's a returning guest on the podcast, and I actually really love now having people come back with years between the episodes, because we get to dive into how they've changed in the time between when we last spoke with them and now. And fortunately or not, depending on how you want to look at it, we've got a whole pandemic to put between the first episode with Leslie and this one, which has changed her perspective on quite a number of things. So it's definitely fun to get into all of that. But anyway, speaking of getting into it, let's do it. Find me online, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, all the places. Leave a rating and a review wherever you're listening now. And everybody, please enjoy this episode with Leslie Rodriguez Kritzer.
Here you go. 1, 2, 3.
Today's guest is already a friend of the podcast, having appeared way back in episode 51, originally released September 10th, 2019, when she was starring as Delia Dietz in Broadway's Beetlejuice. The actress made her Broadway debut in Hairspray in 2004, followed by a string of amazing roles in Legally Blonde, A Catered Affair, Elf, and Something Rotten. And in the years since we last spoke, she's added quite a few things to her resume, including playing Carol Burnett on the marvelous Mrs. Maisel. And she is now tearing up the stage as the Lady of the Lake in the Broadway revival of Spamalot. I'm doing great this morning. Leslie Rodriguez Kritzer, welcome to the Theater Podcast. Holy shit. Wow, that was like the fourth time I tried to say your name. Rodriguez.
Some people say Rodriguez. Some people say Rodriguez. It's Rodriguez or Rodriguez. Rodriguez.
Leslie Rodriguez Kritzer.
Rodriguez Kritzer.
Rodriguez. Oh my goodness.
You got it.
Well, you've added that officially to your name since we last spoke.
I think so. I did it way before the pandemic. I did it. I'm trying to remember. I remember when they had to change the outside, the nameplates, as in honor of my mother, who passed away, who wound up subsequently this past May passing away.
Sorry.
So thank you. So yeah, I did it in honor of her and that side of my heritage and family. And so now we are Rodriguez and we're Kritzer.
Yeah, you are self-proclaimed Jurican, which I still love that.
Jurican.
Jurican.
Yeah.
Jurican.
It's the easiest way. Jurican.
Am I saying your first name right? Is it Leslie Kritzer? I'm just screwing up all your names
No.
today.
You did it. Leslie Kritzer.
Leslie
Some people
Rodriguez
Kritzer. Leslie Rodriguez Kritzer.
Okay.
You can also say Leslie. Some of my friends call me Leslie, and I don't care if it's a less or a Z. Most times people call me Kritz. They're like, "Hey, Kritz, what's up?"
Kritz.
So that's normal too.
Okay.
Call me Kritz.
Fair. I remember I listened back to our first episode, back again, episode 51, and you had just joined TikTok. So how's that going? Let's check in on the TikToks.
It's not. I didn't keep it up. I didn't.
Me neither.
Didn't stay there.
And you and the Hubs had also just moved to New Jersey.
What?
Yeah.
When was this? What year ago? What year?
This was 2019. It was September 10th, 2019 when the episode was released. It was probably the end of the summer when we recorded it.
Oh, we must have just sold our house. We had been living there since 2011. So we sold our house. We were renting another house at the end of the pandemic. And then now we live in the city. So we moved back here as of like a month or so
That's
ago,
funny because
officially.
again, you had mentioned you're like, I miss it every day. I hate the commute. I want to move back to the city. And you were like,
we're back.
Yeah, and so you're back. Okay. Well, in another 4 or 5 years when we do episode 600, who knows? God, if I'm still going at 600 episodes.
I'll be living in Morocco.
You'll be living in Morocco off of your Lady in the Lake Spamalot money.
Oh, right.
So Gosh,
hope.
this was summer 2019, right? So this was before the world turned upside down, before all of the drama that was the Beetlejuice closure, reopening, all that stuff. So I actually think this is really cool to talk about it now after you've had some time to reflect on it, because being in the midst of Beetlejuice, of being like, are we going to make it? Are we going to make it? And then I think it was like, I still want to attribute it to Presley Ryan almost single-handedly using TikTok to revive
100%.
this show and bring it back from almost death. Then it did get killed. Then it came back from the dead. Like, let's just dive in there. Where do you want to start?
Okay. Well, all right. So the last time we spoke was end of the summer, 2019.
Yeah.
We had gone through the Tony Awards. Our album had come out. We were a huge hit. I mean, post Tony Awards, we were a huge hit, and we didn't win any Tonys, and it didn't really matter. We were just riding this wave, and Presley Ryan she was on that TikTok. People glammed onto it. Is it glammed onto it? Glommed on? What's the word? Glammed onto it?
But is it Presley or Presley? That's the real question.
I say it's Presley or Presley. A lot of people, we all say it differently, but it's Presley. I mean, if she was shared, Presley. Presley Ryan. Who is now like a full grown up in college, like
Jesus,
almost unrecognizable. She's a full on lady. And she was onto something. I think it totally changed the scope of the show. It was very organic, but also it was timing. It was that, our album, being on the Tony Awards, it was, shows were dropping like flies, and here we were. And personally for me, it had been a great award season for me. Like I was, pleasantly surprised at the nominations that I did get. I was so happy, it was just awesome. And we all were having a blast at work. Then, little did we know, March 10th would be our last show of
because of the pandemic, not because of Scott Rudin.
Right. However, before that, yes, we were like, are we moving? Are we whatever? And so basically what was told to us was that, you guys, we have another theater. We can't talk about it yet. We will be moving. Also, we're doing a capture of the show. And I was planning my vacation around that capture, and all of us were.
So you were told this. You were told this early 2020.
Early 2020, right? So 20.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, we were planning on moving. We had another theater. Yeah, Scott Rudin was taking the theater. We were all pissed. We knew that during Thanksgiving,
right?
Because one of the videos I made, David Joseph and I were rapping about it, like basically like taking our theater, blah, 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 blah. It's a joke without saying his name, knowing that Music Man was going to come in. But we were doing so well that most likely this new theater was a lock, and it was basically in process. And we were about to do this capture in April. So we were planning our vacations around this capture, which was going to be amazing. And then everything, Tuesday, March 10th was our last show. So we were planning a move, we were planning this and that, and it just all went to shit.
That's
obviously
insane. So the capture never happened?
Nope.
Wow. Oh, that is
it never happened.
Crappy.
We needed a live audience for it to have happened.
Right.
We needed to do it the way that Timbers would have wanted it, which was totally out of the box and cool and different, not your straight up normal capture. Even the way we shot the commercial was really fun. So, now it's kind of like,
yeah, you update the lyrics. You update the lyrics for whatever, a venue that you're singing in or performing in. Like that's always something that the show did. It was always playing to whoever was watching. And the pro shots in general, for those who don't know, literally cost millions of dollars. It's not just showing up with a couple cameras. It's multiple nights with live audiences, cutting together the footage of multiple takes, again, for multiple performances. Because it's not like TV and film where you're starting and stopping and redoing the same scene. You're running through the whole show multiple nights in front of a full audience. And when I heard that a pro shot took over $1 to $2 million, my jaw hit the floor. My floor hit the jaw too, for that matter. And I was like, what the actual F, right? But then it's New York,
so
right?
expensive.
It's New York. It's union rules and all the other stuff. Anyway,
A cup of coffee is $5. $5.
And depending on what union coffee house you're in, you can't pour it yourself.
Right. I mean, New York has gotten so expensive, let alone union. So, like, yeah, it's nuts.
Jesus.
It's nuts. So, yeah, we're all expensive now. Everyone's expensive. Even coffee is expensive. And we know that water is expensive. So, it's laughable when I pick up a bottle of water in a store and I'm like, you're joking, right? Give me a water fountain. Where the hell is a goddamn water fountain around here?
There was years ago, it's probably 10 years ago. I was walking through Times Square with my big camera, because I have a nice camera I shoot with sometimes, hanging from my neck.
Jealous.
And I go up to a vendor. I'm thirsty. It's the summer. I'm like, just give me a bottle of water, please. And I hand him $2 because I'm like, I'm gonna pay the Times Square upcharge. The tourist tax, as I call it. And he's like, no, it's $4. And I was like, for a bottle of water? No, I'm going to give you $2 for this bottle of water. And he goes, but you're a tourist. He points at my camera. And I said, no, I live in Washington Heights. I live at 189th Street. I do not.
Whoa. I live on.
Really?
I'm down the street from you.
Well, no, I live in Brooklyn now. I used to live in Washington Heights. This is at the time of this story.
Come on.
Yeah, I was 189th.
I was like, I'm coming over.
Oh,
That's
I was 189th and Bennett. I love that area up there.
I just told everyone who is listening where I live.
I'll bleep that out.
Yeah, bleep that out. Anyway, go ahead.
I'll bleep that out. No, I love that area.
Real smart, Kritzer.
Yeah.
It's great, but I want to come to Brooklyn now.
Well, I got a spare bedroom. You can come up. You can come down here.
I'll come visit and we can make podcasts. Is that what's his face on the shelf behind you? Elf on the
Mr.
shelf.
Elf, yeah. Yeah, that's Will.
So cool.
Will Ferrell the elf.
Oh my God. Anyway, sorry. I keep messing your train of thought.
I don't have a train of thought this morning. Any more coffee?
You do have a train.
My train is a hoverboard that doesn't have a track. I'm not going in a straight line. That is for sure. So, okay, Beetlejuice, tourist tax. Anyway, tourist, if you're listening, you don't need to pay more than like two bottles for $1 of water. I am so good this morning.
This is but I follow it.
Tourists, you don't need
I understand. You and I both got onto this thing going, we need coffee. There's not enough coffee in the world, and literally raised our mugs together.
Dude,
in solidarity.
This morning I got up early, went into Midtown, have come back, and because I had to go up like this Kenneth Cole wellness at work presentation thing this morning. So I was like, I was just hanging out with Kenneth and Katie Couric this morning and Mayor Adams, like you do.
Okay. Cool.
Like you do. Came back for the interview with the Crits. So
amazing.
So there you go. Anywho, what were we talking about? My toe hurts from dropping all those names. Goodness. Oh,
so we were supposed to do the capture. We were supposed to do the capture. Didn't happen. Probably won't ever happen. And that's too bad. But guess what? That's life.
I mean, Tenders is doing okay for himself. I think like he could get
no one's worried about him.
Yeah, I think we could get the original cast back together and do this.
If they wanted to, they totally could. I mean, I heard that they may do it in London. Surprise, not a surprise. Everything winds up going over there. Like, who knows? Anything's possible.
Would you go over there to revive any role if Spamalot is not conflicting or something else?
Wait, not just any role. I'm not playing Lydia.
No,
I mean any role. Like,
did I really just say any role? I meant if any role does not conflict.
It was cute. It was very cute. I was like, well, I'd like to do Charles.
Would you do Otho? Because you'd be great. Yeah.
You'd be like, can I do Otho, but also maybe do Guys and Dolls, do a simultaneous thing, swap out with Marisha, who I know over there is playing Adelaide. Anything's possible. I mean, if it's timing, it's always timing. It's always schedule. It's always what does it entail? How long? I never say no. I always say, yeah, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I love the West End. I've always wanted to work in the West End, but we'll see. I don't even know when that is. I think it's far off, though.
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't heard anything about it lately. Everything this fall right now is all like The Notebook. That's all I hear about.
Not The Notebook. I hear it's good.
I do too. And I also hear Water for Elephants is going to be brilliant. Beautiful. But it's got over $1 million a week operating budget. So people are like, how is it going to survive?
Yeah,
That's
I
a
don't know. But it's all, again, it's all expensive. The Outsiders, I hear, is very exciting. I really want to see that. I really want to see Lempicka and Eden.
Yes.
I mean, I want to see everything. Problem is, I'm in a show, so I probably will not see most of them right away. But maybe, who knows? I love getting invited.
I just saw Eden the other night in Gardens of Venetia.
Ah, I heard it's great.
It was
Listen,
beautiful.
Mary Testa.
It was Mary
Tele
Testa.
Sessions.
Mary Testa. I mean,
Come on. Come on.
It makes me appreciate the time I have left with my parents, because it's a story about, like a flashback, an old lady telling the story of through her younger self, and like Eden's is the mom, and it's one of those things that I saw that last week, and then last night saw Mad Women of the West, which is also, it's all women.
Where's that?
That is at the Actors Temple with Mary Lou
Nice.
Henner. Mary Lou Henner and
Nice.
Caroline Aaron from Maisel.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, and it's four women that they're all talking about. It's a lot of menopause jokes, but it's basically like, we are all of a certain age, and holy shit, I hope we didn't just screw up our lives real bad, but we got to make the best of it and move forward. So it's really funny.
Where is it again?
The Actors Temple on 47th.
The Actors Temple. Oh my God. I'm looking it up.
Yeah.
Wow.
Really good.
I love those women.
Yeah.
I mean, I really love those women. So.
Yeah, they're great. It's a good show. It's a tiny little place that also is a synagogue if you're in the mood. So
I have walked by it so many times.
yeah, there you go. So Beetlejuice, just to put a pin in that, or wrap it up, or put a bow on it. I don't know how to make a metaphor this morning, apparently. Tie it up.
Oh, excuse me.
Oh.
Excuse me. I will not be taking this.
Oh,
Okay,
well,
go ahead.
go ahead. Put it on speaker. Who is it?
Hello, Andy.
Hello, Kristen Chenoweth. We're in the
Kristen
middle of.
Chenoweth. Hello.
Is it Taran Killam? I've always wanted to meet Taran.
Oh, he's a doll. He's so nice. He's so fun. We're dressing room floor mates, and he's just great.
After seeing
He's
him,
just great.
After seeing him in the show, and Alex Moffat in The Cottage with Laura Bell Bundy and others, right?
Also wonderful.
Is and I guess for a while now, like what's her face from Schmigadoon, like the SNL cast is starting to make their way onto Broadway a little bit. And is it
Yeah.
Have you talked with Taran about his aspirations, like in terms of like bringing in or I guess wanting to be on Broadway? Because I feel like coming out of SNL, and then also additional question, would you want to go on to SNL? Is that's the sort of thing that like a stage actor wants to do? But like this crossover going back and forth, because it is just a live performance in front of an audience.
Yeah, I mean, they're different skills, right?
But I think you could do it because you're funny AF.
I could do it. I've always wanted to do it. I did audition. I never got on the show. I was in the improv world. I sort of gave it up to stay in the musical theater world because I kept working, and you kind of can't do both. And I wasn't immersed enough in the comedy world to go that route. Taran and I have had numerous discussions about this, that I'm kind of in working with him and some of the other SNL people I've worked with, Rachel Dratch, and gotten to know Anna Gasteyer, and that I get a sense of what it must have been like to work with them, obviously. But the bottom line is Taran is a musical theater person.
Yeah.
I mean, he really studied it. I'm pretty sure he went to college for it, and then wound up for a little while or something, was very serious about it, and then wound up kind of going into more comedy and the Groundlings and then SNL. But this is his love. I mean, he loves doing musicals. And I always tell him, I'm like, Taran, your voice, like, you really can sing a lot. He's like, I said, I'm serious. Like, I would love to hear you sing some other stuff, just because I know it's like, there's so much there. He's so brilliant in his mind and the comedy, and he takes it so seriously, and jokes and putting things together. It's very inspiring to be around. It was a lifelong dream. I almost went to LA, did the Groundlings, did the whole thing, but I kept doing musicals, and I went to school at a very a very highly prestigious sentences, Leslie, musical theater school. And I was groomed to do that, and I was determined to do that. And then, but I think now in my life, what I get to do in Spamalot is I get to marry the two a little bit, because I do my improvised bits a little bit. I get to do a lot of comedy in it, not just sing. And then in my shows that I write, that's when I get to kind of really express that, use that skill. But now being around Taran especially, it's very inspiring.
Hang on, everybody. We're just going to take a quick break. All right, now we're back.
The difference is people that do SNL, they have a very specific skill set. Not everyone that does musicals can do SNL and not an improv comedy and vice versa. The people that are meant to and that are drawn to it, like Taryn, like Rachel Dratch, like Anna Gasteyer, Alex Moffat. Yeah. Well, he doesn't do musicals, but you mentioned her name and I'm totally...
Schmigadoon.
Schmigadoon. They're drawn to it because they have a natural affinity and they can sing and do all the other things.
Cicely Strong.
It is Cicely Strong.
There you go.
So there is crossover, but very few people can do that. And I appreciate you saying that. It was a lifelong dream, but I think in talking to enough people who have been on the show, they're so glad that they were on it. It changed their lives, but also is a very difficult place to be and difficult place to work. And again, changed their lives. But I've kind of gotten the feeling that, hey, if I was meant to be on that show, I would have been, and it's kind of like, don't you feel that way about life? Like if certain things were meant to happen, they would have, and I'm experiencing it in a different way by getting to do that in my shows and then in Spamalot. And, it kind of works, right?
Well, then the Lady of the Lake is, Sarah Ramirez, her portrayal, her origination, like the performance is everywhere, and you can't look up Spamalot without seeing her sing one of the songs. And coming into I guess the revival for you was it the Kennedy Center, right? So you were part of the original cast, and when you're presented with this material, with this character that is very iconic, and I sort of equate this to being a Glenda or an Elphaba, but being a comedy, you have, I think, a little more liberty in being able to sort of go off the rails a little bit, right? So
absolutely,
you have to come in and you have to be you have to fit a certain mold, but not completely. So you as Leslie, as the Kritz, when you're coming in as the Kritz, coming in and be like, all right, I'm going to make this mine. I'm going to be the best Kritz I can be, while still honoring this iconic role in this iconic show, in this iconic story, because Spamalot in general is completely ripped off from the Monty Python and the Holy Grail, the movie from, I think it was 1979 that came out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
That makes sense.
How are you approaching this to make it your own while still keeping it familiar?
First of all, I love you. I just love you. Can we do this all the time?
Yes, please.
No, we need to do more stuff together. I'm just saying this to you because I just adore you. Number one. Number two. Okay. First of all, Sada now has changed pronouns, so is referred to as they.
I did not know.
And
I am sorry.
No, that's okay. We educate each other. So I'm carrying along that message.
Thank you.
First of all, I saw Sada 20-something years ago when they did this. When they were maybe 26 or 27. I think we were around the same age. Blown away by them. Absolutely. Don't remember anything about the show except them. And also never in a million years would have thought that someone like me, all 5'2.5" of me, would ever play Lady of the Lake, because I'm not a tall goddessy kind of woman. I'm petite. And I have a big voice, but I'm not that visually, right? And that's how, by the way, you come in New York, are you tall? Are you short? Are you a tapper? Are you not? Are you this? Are you that? It's very much when you come here, at least when I came here, it was that. So I didn't fit the mold, right? Cut to, I get the call from Jeffrey Finn. Do you want to play Lady of the Lake in Spamalot? I'm like, I guess. I never really thought, but look at this cast. I mean, oh yeah, love the Kennedy Center, love Jeffrey Finn, love my group of actors. Are you kidding? Sign me up. Where do I go first day rehearsal? How I approached it was, I didn't rewatch the movie. I didn't listen to the album except for a piece of whatever happened to my part, because I wanted to change vocally what I was doing, but I didn't, what they maybe had done, but I didn't want to mess with it too much. I wanted to kind of clean slate, no real, if anything, the end of Grail. I just wanted to hear the end of Grail, chorally what it sounded like, structurally what it sounded like, with everyone singing. And then listen to what they did vocally and go, oh, these were interesting choices. I'm going to keep this. I'm not going to keep this. I'm not going to keep this. I am going to keep this. And I'm going to build on this. And that's kind of how for me musically, I go, what can I do to infuse what I do, still honor what's written? And then character-wise, I come in not remembering what Sada did and also not watching any bootlegs. The only bootleg we watched was a costume change thing at the end of the show without ruining it for people who are listening, because we couldn't figure out this dress that is a trick thing. That's the only thing I've ever seen. And I come in and I said, okay, my Lady of the Lake is different vignettes, different versions of Lady of the Lake. Camelot Lady of the Lake is a lounge singer. Grail Lady of the Lake is a pop star. Beginning of the Lady of the Lake is the diva. The more of the siren. Then whatever happened to my part is the actress that's playing Lady of the Lake in the show Spamalot, who is the quintessential diva. And then the end, Guinevere, is this purest form of Lady of the Lake, almost like at the end of Wizard of Oz, when Dorothy is like coming back home. It's just like a pure, beautiful, real scene. There's one turn at the end, but it's really about, you've been here all the time. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, it feels like that in the Wizard of Oz, like, you've always been home, Dorothy. You know what I mean? And it's just beautiful and heartfelt. And I feel like Chris and James and I have like this beautiful scene there that is obviously comedic, but it's rooted in truth. And our whole show is about joy and laughter and fun. So that's kind of how I approached it without even, and by the way, like, I don't think too hard about it. I don't intellectualize it. I don't overanalyze it. I try to write jokes. I try to put my stuff in. I'm inspired by the audience. I'm inspired by my peers. And I feel safe in a show with this group of people to do that. Am I limited because of my stage time? Sure. But I've always, most of my career, I'm always like, I come on, I do it, I get out. So I know how to make the most of what I'm given, especially since this character is not in the movie. It is a new creation for this show. So, how do I do that, but not try too hard? And my interest too with comedy is subtlety. How subtle can I be and have them in the palm of my hand? How much can I do, or how much or how little can I do to make them laugh? That is, and the timing of it is really important to me. It makes me excited. It makes me feel challenged in a way that I feel different in this musical than other musicals that are way more crafted and very consistent. I have freedom in this, and the guys do too. The guys do also. So that's kind of how I approached it. And then I really wanted to stretch myself vocally. I was like, what if I go higher here? What if I do this and totally do my operatic range here, go to this high thing, and then belt right after that? I mean, I'm 46 years old. I got pipes. I'm in my prime. Let's use these fuckers. Let's see what we got here. I'm a hot rod, let's see within reason what I have and what I can give while I have it, because I will not have this range forever. And I have it now, and it's amazing to use. I do. I feel like sometimes when I'm out there, I'm like, God, I'm a Porsche. Like this is amazing, but I know how to drive my vehicle, and I know how to not burn myself out. And that's another, I've worked very hard with my voice teacher to know how to be a Porsche, but to maintain my vehicle. Right. I've never used the Porsche comparison except with you.
I enjoy that. And it's ironic you said that because, or maybe not ironic, in our first episode 51, we got into just a real quick conversation because Casey Levy had just started bringing to the forefront on social media her vocal injuries. And you had actually said too, you were like, yeah, I've gone through it and everyone's afraid to say it, but now we're not. And now but then we are, but now we're not. And it's really interesting that we've gone through this time of like crawling into a hole and quarantining in the pandemic, and who knows who was doing what during this time, and then coming out. And I mean, just like any athlete, right? You have to keep training. You have to keep training in the off season. When you're not on stage, you have to keep performing. So were you tuning your engine? Were you cleaning your pipes? Were you upgrading? Were you putting your nitrous oxide into your fuel injection before Spamalot? Or like, how do you keep your engine running smoothly?
Well, I think, was I doing a musical before Spamalot? I don't remember what I was doing.
We had Maisel
I
in
was,
there.
I did Maisel, but I did a play. I did a play at Lincoln Center. And, during the pandemic, I really didn't sing very much. I sang a little, but not really. And I kind of felt like, well, first of all, it's not like, where am I going to sing? But it was kind of a quiet period, which was fine with me because I had done Beetlejuice and one after the other. When I did Maisel, it was really fun because I got to and which was so quick to embody her. Although I had been embodying her in my mind for decades because I'm a huge fan. But I think it was important for me to have a break from acting for a while, even though it wasn't my choice. It was nice to feel like a normal person, normal in the sense of, not always having to just be an actor. And that's like my identity. To answer your question, getting ready for Spamalot after doing this play at Lincoln Center, where I just used my voice, it was very interesting. I was like, oh, I know exactly what to do to maintain vocal. I didn't have mics or whatever. And then I worked with my teacher. And then as I knew Spamalot was transferring, when Spamalot went to DC in May, before I did the play, I was training way before that to do the show. Because I knew, wow, I hadn't done a musical I hadn't done a musical since Beetlejuice closed. So I had a little break. I think we closed in February. I had a little break, started working with my teacher on the Spamalot stuff once I knew Kennedy Center was a go. Did the Kennedy Center. Then we found out, yep, we're going. So I did this play. I started working just vocally on speech to make sure, because sometimes talking really can mess up your voice. And then once we knew that Spamalot was transferring, I went right back in, started way before rehearsal, and really mapped out exactly what to do. Joan Lader has seen me through 2 injuries. I have the pictures of my vocal cords to prove it.
Ooh.
I'm very open about what has happened to me with hemorrhaging. Thank God I've never had to have surgery or any of that. But yeah, it happens. And it happens easily. It could be a minor injury. It could be a severe one. I had 2 minor. The big one where I really, really got hurt was when, and I want the people listening to this to really take it in, because this is what we do. We're like, no, we push through. I was doing Robert Bridegroom off Broadway, one of my favorite shows that I've ever done. I had overscheduled. We were doing the show. We were recording our album. And then I had a concert after we closed, and I was sick. I had a concert up at in the Berkshires. And I said, no, it's okay. I'm just going to, you know what? I'll get through the sickness. And I'll take by the way, steroids are not the devil. You take them. If I ever need one in an emergency, I will take it. Well, this was an emergency. However, I was not using my voice properly at the time and singing through a very, very difficult chest cold. And it was a recipe for disaster. I went to my doctor after I figured out my range was a little wonky, and he scoped me. And for people that don't know what that is, they stick a camera down your nose or down your throat. It does not hurt. They numb you so that you don't, gag. And he looked at me and he said, "What happened?" Now, Dr. Wu, the amazing Dr. Wu, is very serious. He's a very well-known, very, very high-level doctor, ENT. And then he pushed the screen towards me, and my vocal cord was bloody red.
Oh, no.
There was a blood vessel that had burst. It was bleeding. And he's like, we got to go in there. We have to cauterize it. Now you're asking me, sorry guys, just as a spoiler alert, I'm going to tell you what cauterizing a blood vessel on your vocal cords is like. They stick a laser down your throat and they burn it so that it stops bleeding.
Yeah.
It is not painful, but I can't tell you what the smell is like. I will hope I never have that experience
Burning
again.
flesh in general is not cool.
Not fun, but this is good for people to know, so that when you're out and you're singing at 1 a.m. and you think that you're invisible and you're doing this and you're doing that and you're like, oh, I got a show to do, but I'm fine and I'm 25, that this stuff still happens. And I was not 25 when this happened. But taking care of those beautiful little vocal folds that are so delicate. It doesn't take much. I had extensive rehabilitation. I had to be quiet. I worked with Joan, and I was going into something rotten a month later. So nobody knew I had this injury. I certainly wasn't going to tell anyone. I told my agent, but I was like, I can do this. Joan thinks I can do this. I will be rehabilitated. I will get better. I did everything they told me to do. And I spent a lot of money to rehab. And I walked into something rotten, no problem, was consistent till the end, till we closed, never had a vocal injury. And I've been basically okay since. During Beetlejuice, I got sick once, and I had to be out for a couple of days because it was a little wonky. But I know exactly what to do now. I know my limitations. Everybody has limitations, especially as you get older. You know, even with Spamalot, my voice teacher Joan says, you just have to know when it's enough, when it's too much. Like, you know, you want to drive that Porsche and go 150. No, maybe you should just stay at 100. Oh, but I'm feeling it. I want to like go up there and just go nuts and live in the moment. Okay. Well, what's tomorrow going to be like for you? Can you even go up there at all? And that is when you're doing 8 shows a week and you are my age, you just, even though I'm a Porsche, it is not the same. It is not the same. Okay.
You're not an off the showroom floor Porsche.
No,
you're
I'm a
well-maintained. Yeah.
I'm a well-maintained vintage Porsche. Okay. I'm not a brand new Porsche. Okay. With these new, you know, all of this new technology. So the long answer to your question is I could get injured anytime. I try to prevent it, but I also still have a life. I will have a glass of wine once in a while or a cocktail. I know when it's time to go home. I know when it's, no, I won't do your concert on a Monday. I'm so sorry. I don't care if it's raising money for children. You know, I will do it at some point. I promise. But my job is to show up for my job. And my anxiety mentally, which is connected, if I feel like I'm getting into a position where I am putting myself at risk, I have to, because there's nothing worse. And if singers are listening to this, there is nothing worse than waking up and going, is it there? Oh my God. Is it there? Is it there? I don't think it's going to be there. I don't think it's going to be there. Oh my God. Okay. What do I do? When do I call? Okay. Let's wait another hour. All right. Let's wait another 2 hours. Let's warm up. Let's see. I mean, you can really go crazy. So, you know, you got to sacrifice. Can't go to every party. Can't sing all the benefits. Can't do all the sometimes auditions. Like, it is what it is. So it's a very long answer. I like watching the clock go. I'm like, I think I've been talking straight for 10 minutes.
Well, it's easy for me. I don't have to say anything. I appreciate it. Hang on, everybody. We're just going to take a quick break. All right. Now we're back.
It depends on like where, you know, the vocal demands. Like I'd watch Elizabeth Teeter and before her, Sophia and Caruso, you know, sing the Lydia track in Beetlejuice, which is so difficult and so high. And watch them both go through their own anxieties. And even though they're both like tough as nails and unbelievable talents, you are out there expected to deliver. And there is no funny voice over it or a character voice. It is your voice pure. And you have to be vulnerable. And vulnerability and vocal quality, really understanding how to harness that is a skill in itself. You know, I watched the both of them having to go through it, a lot of anxiety and, you know, wanting to deliver, and the both of them are incredible. But as young people with that kind of pressure, that's really difficult. I have that kind of pressure now. You know, at end of Grail, I'm doing this this riff from Wicked, but a step higher, I think, or a half a step higher than the end.
Right. That's awesome.
And it's really fun. But when they go, and there's a space and I'm supposed, it's either sink or swim. And every night I know how to place it. Like I'm up there, I'm harnessed with people that haven't seen the show. I am harnessed on a safety belt that matches my dress, which is very cool, to a wall. I am eye level with the mezzanine up on this platform, no safety rail. Okay. Just freewheeling on a 3-foot platform above the ground, up there. And that space is like, okay, you're either going to deliver. What else could you do here? There's no safety here. So you got to figure it out. I know exactly how to place it. I've worked with Joan on how to place it exactly to a T to deliver it. And then once I hit it, and I have to hold that note, I know exactly where to hold it. And I watch John, our conductor, holding the note, and I know how to cut off. And that is something I don't mess with. I just know how to get right into the pocket. That's a moment where sometimes I want to go off the rails a little for fun. And I have to remind myself, slow your roll. You're a vintage Porsche, like slow your roll. You're not 24 and then 6, you know what I mean? Like you are the musical. That's what
I love, I'm going to tell you, John Bell, your conductor, he was our musical director when I did Forever Plaid at Prather's like a bajillion years ago. And I'm so happy to see what he has done. Yeah, John is the best.
He's incredible. Anyway, moving on.
Real quick. So you can't succeed on Broadway if you don't have any Jews. You were in rehearsal when the conflict in Israel and Gaza started. Yes. How did that conversation, was that a conversation about that song, about that number? What was that?
It was absolutely a conversation. Josh, our director, Josh Rhodes, a bunch of people had come to him, said, we're concerned. Are we a little nervous, whatever? And he's like, let's have a group discussion. We sat down in rehearsal. All of us were together and we really talked about it. And it was a good discussion. And we kind of basically decided, by the way, this was before the actual war do you say invasion of Gaza happened, or, conflict in Gaza in the sense of troops coming over and being told to evacuate happened. That was while we were in previews. So basically we decided as a group, I think, even though we were all conflicted, we were going to do this number in the spirit of joy in which it was written, which is not about Israel, not about Palestine, not about anything having to do with that. This is about the celebration of the Jewish contribution to the arts, particularly musical theater, which is huge and should be celebrated. That is, and the joy around this number, that is the aim here. We are allowed to celebrate that. There's nothing bad about it. It is going to maybe trigger people, as it should in a time where it is a terrible, terrible thing that we're watching, that we're all feeling, that we're all processing. However, theater is always there for us to also enjoy, to escape, to reflect, to fill our tanks, so we can go back out in the real world and go, okay, I can keep continuing to process this, knowing what I saw. Now, with that said, people are allowed to come to the show and also be triggered by it and angry by it. That is okay too. This is live theater. We don't set the rules about how the audience feels. That is, a friend of mine said to me once, like, I think it was either not Philip Seymour Hoffman. Maybe it was Philip Seymour Hoffman. I don't remember, but it was a famous person and said to someone else, wow, I'm really butchering this. It's not for, he said, okay, I think it was either Philip Seymour Hoffman or some actor was like, yeah, I don't think I was good tonight. I don't think I did my best or whatever. And the person said to him, it's really not for you to decide. It's not up to you to decide. You did your work. It's the audience. They are the ones that experience how they feel. We're doing it for them.
Yeah.
Okay. We're doing it for them. So how they interpret, how they experience it, that is their right. So when someone says to you, oh, you did so great, you're like, oh, I don't know. You're almost taking their experience away from them. So if people come to Spamalot and they're triggered by it, they have every right to be. If they love it, they have every right to love it. It's not our job to take that away from them. Our job is just to do what we know how to do best and go and be specific. And I think the way Michael Urie and the entire company that is on that stage deliver that number, you cannot, at least for me, it's hard to walk away from that and watch it and go, wow, that is just, what a great number. What a great performance, full of love and heart. Michael Urie is one of the people that is the heart of our show.
Yeah.
I just love him. That's how I feel about his little contribution. Everybody, but him in this show and that number, it is just, it's just all pure love. So yeah, that's kind of how we're doing it.
Yeah, I love it. And I can read that from the audience. It's joy, it's celebration, it's excitement. And I think if you're a fan of Mel Brooks, if you're a fan of Monty Python, if you're even kind of the extreme of South Park, when you get that they're bringing comedy. I mean, even Book of Mormon, right? So all these jokes are based in truth. The jokes are bringing up tropes, but it's all satire. And I mean, look at the rest of the show, right? You're making fun of English the entire time, and the French, and so many other groups of people. I mean, gosh, even Chris Fitzgerald, just everything he brings to his role is so subtle and amazing. Just the best.
And carefully thought out with the effort, carefully thought out with the element of play and spontaneity. That is how I feel about our group of Knights.
Yeah.
It makes me, and Chris, especially because Michael McGraw, who played Patsy in the original, who had passed away not too long ago, Chris embodies it. It's not that he embodies Michael. Michael has passed the torch to Chris in a way, and it might sound woo-woo spiritually to me, that I feel when I watch Chris, it is the best of Chris. This part is truly the best of the heart of who Chris Fitzgerald is, not only as a good person and a good man, but as a supremely gifted comedic actor, who is generous on stage and very supportive. It is a joy and a privilege to watch him work and to be around him, and also for him to try to make me break on stage, which
really
he hasn't fully, but he might achieve it someday. He might achieve it.
That's a really good summary. He's generous in his performance. His performance is scene stealing without saying "look at me," and that's what I mean. All of it. Michael Urie too, and you and JMI, James Michael Hart, like just everybody, literally everybody. There's no single comedic star. All of you are building each other up in a way that I haven't seen in an ensemble. I don't know if ever. It's maybe since the Monty Python crew. Like, it's a crew. It's legitimately a crew.
It is. And you got Taron, okay, who, by the way, could, if he wanted to, just take over, right? In many of those, he knows what to do. He knows when to get out. He knows when to take the floor and to give the floor. Ethan, also subtle, funny, also knows how to pass the torch. Nick Walker and James, and also Jimmy Smigula, who doesn't have a huge part, but when he delivers his thing, it's specific, it's on. He also, when someone else has more lines than you in a group, if you have the ability to watch and be present and not have to be busy, just know where the focus is supposed to go. That is a professional. That is a true pro. And this group, including me, knows how to do that. We give each other the floor with generosity and love, because the parts make the whole. There's no star here. James, he's King Arthur. He's not the star of the show. He is one of the hearts of the show. He is certainly, King Arthur is, the top of the food chain, but he also knows, because this is also James and who he is, he knows he is one part of the whole. And then you put the ensemble into that, the most incredible ensemble, who also understand focus and who also understand the chemistry that all of us have to have on stage to make it work. I mean, I'm truly so grateful when our cast changes. If it does, it's going to be an adjustment. And what we're hoping is that when that does happen eventually, that we maintain the spirit. And I think the show will attract people like that. I think we're always, and to our producer, Jeffrey Finn's credit, he wants that. He wants that for us, because that's also who he is. And Josh wants that as well. Josh Rhodes, our director. So it's really special. I mean, for however long it lasts, we're enjoying it for as long as we can.
And you should. I mean,
And I love being I am the only female principal, and it's real cool. I have to say, at first I was like, wait, really? I'm usually the person that comes on and I sing and I get to leave. I do that in the show, but I'm the only one that does it. So it's kind of like, okay. And now I'm like, oh, this is rad. I kind of like it. I'm the queen. Like, I kind of like being the queen. Okay. I could do this for a while. Cool.
Yeah. And
it's nice.
The voice, the part is vocally all over the place, very vocally challenging, but I think very apropos. You know, you come in the second act, you're like, whatever happened to my part? Like, you do have a good chunk of time where you can go back and do a crossword puzzle. So at least
it's terrifying,
really?
But I could. Oh, I feel like if I'm not, no, although I'll like FaceTime my friend Lindsay, I'll do stuff. I could keep busy. That's when I should like pay bills and go through my thing. But then you can get too immersed in something. It makes me very nervous.
Yeah.
It makes me very nervous. Even during Beetlejuice, people are like, wow, you can continue to write your play if you want. And blah, blah, blah. I was like, play? I can't. Unless I was off stage cover, sure. But even 20, 25 minutes, it makes me nervous. I'm going to miss my cue.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a blast.
Yeah.
I'm having a blast.
I missed a cue once and I was terrified. I will never do it again. It was the worst.
When you are flying down 2 sets of staircases and jumping over 6 of those steps, possibly going to like break your ankle to make an entrance. Terrifying.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
All right. Well, let's wrap up with the same.
We're wrapping up.
I know. Well, we're at the hour, brah.
We got to do it. Brah.
I know. Well, I'm telling you, we're gonna come back. We got to do something else together. We got to do more things.
No, I would love it, and I want it to include video too next time.
Okay, I'll do my hair next time.
We'll do it.
Okay.
No, but like our own thing. We'll discuss.
Yes, please. Okay, so these are the same questions I asked you before, and I wrote down your previous answers, and after you answer them this time, we'll see how they changed. Okay. Number 1, just very simply, is what motivates you.
What motivates me?
Yeah.
In general, in life.
In life.
Curiosity.
Before in episode 51, you said making people laugh.
Oh, okay. Very cool.
Okay. Question.
The curiosity is like wanting to learn more, like curious about the world and people, wanting to learn more.
Yeah.
So this is very cool.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Cool.
No, it's interesting. I mean, like, this is 4.5 years later, so we all change. So our motivation is going to be different every time.
I literally can't see now with glasses 4 years later, so I know I have.
I recommend LASIK.
Okay.
I got it. It's great.
Okay.
Okay, question 2. What advice would you give to your younger self and younger people listening now, starting out down a similar path?
Listen to your gut. And learn as much as possible about what you're passionate about.
Similar to what you said the first time. You said, learn everything, immerse yourself in everything theater, train, never stop training.
Yep.
So very similar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Last question then. If you can only see one show for the rest of your life, but you can see it as many times as you want, what would you see?
West Side Story?
You said Here Lies Love.
Wow.
Because this was long before it was coming to Broadway.
Yeah. Oh, well, yes. I mean, I loved it. I do love that show. But I think now a classic, the West Side popped into my head because it's like, come on, Dance at the Gym. Come on, cool. Come on. The opening overture, the whole sequence. That movie was amazing. I actually am going to go back and watch that movie again.
The Spielberg one or the original?
Yeah, the Spielberg. Well, the original is amazing. I have watched it so many times, but the Spielberg one, man. Wow.
Speaking of recent Spielberg one, Ari DeBose, can we just give her a what for a second? Like, have you seen Wish yet? Have you been out to the theater to see Wish?
No, is it good?
She's so good. It's incredible. It's incredible. My kids love it.
Amazing.
We listen to the album at home all the time, and I'm like, that's Ari.
That's Ari, baby.
All right. Where can we find you on the socials now? I mean, I guess you're still on the TikToks?
Okay, wait. Should I really learn? I feel like it's like old hat now. I still like doing Instagram. I'm on Instagram. I'm not really on Facebook. But like TikTok, it just seems like, I don't know, for the young. But it's not. I see like old people making like videos and they're like, look at me in my kitchen. I'm making a French toast. And they have like 1 million followers.
You should just, what you could do is find videos of people performing Beetlejuice or singing and just use the green screen feature. And all you do is just sit there and watch and nod and be like, oh, you don't have to say anything. You don't have to do anything. Just react.
Okay, wait. I would love that. Also, so many of my videos, bootleg videos, have gone viral on TikTok. So many, and people like don't know my name. I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna ask our social media people what I should do. So it might be fun if I learn. I just need to learn. It makes me very nervous. Curiosity.
Yes.
Curiosity.
There you go. Yes. Well, I'm on Threads and Instagram, which is where I primarily post. I try to post on TikTok. I need someone to help me. If you're listening and you want to help me be an intern or something, God, I need help.
I need help too.
Yeah. All right. Well, help Leslie and me.
You get it. You get an intern first, and whoever isn't your intern, can they be my intern?
Yes. We'll share. All right. If you want to share,
we'll share interns.
Share interns.
Share interns.
And leave a rating, leave a review wherever you're listening now. Turn to your friend next to you and be like, hey, I'm listening to this great episode with the Crits. You got to listen to it. Share the podcast. Thank you to Jukebox the Ghost for the music you're hearing right now underneath. And Leslie Rodriguez Kritzer. Thank you so much. I love you. You're the best. Thank you for doing this again.
You're the best.
Take a deep breath, make the world a little colorful.